My name's Catherine Hewgill, and I have been principal cellist in the orchestra for around about 33 years now, so a very long time. When I first joined the orchestra, I thought I'd stay for maybe 5 years, but I'm still here and still loving it. It's so hard when you're a musician to be outside music, because even when you go to sleep, I mean, it's all pervasive. It's in your mind all the time. You have these little earworms that keep popping up all night, depending on what you're working on at the time. But I try and get rid of those earworms by engaging in a lot of reading, cooking, painting, exercise, or things that really, have a big contrast. Well, they're not really very contrasting because they're all creative, but being away from the cello is very refreshing sometimes, let me say. I used to listen to music a lot, but now I find I have music in my head so much that I need some silence. Sometimes silence it's just relaxing. It's really hard to narrow down a memorable performance to just one or two, but when I think about it, I have to say that the reopening of the Opera House, playing Mahler II with Simone Young conducting, was extraordinary. I mean, the excitement of the occasion and the reaction of the audience and just the music itself, it was just, I'll never forget that. I was also lucky enough to make a recording, a CD of Russian cello and piano music with our previous principal conductor, Vladimir Ashkenazy, and that was something, probably one of the highlights of my career, to be able to do that and to be able to hear him play the piano, which of course we only ever saw him conducting, and he doesn't play in public much at all anymore. But he and I at the CD launch actually played on the concert hall of the Opera House, the Rachmaninoff Vocalese, together to a select group of people, and I'll never forget that. When you think of the Elgar Cello Concerto, I think everybody just thinks Jacqueline du Pré, and of course she made this piece famous. It was composed in 1919, and apparently the first performance a year later was a bit of a disaster because Elgar was conducting the concerto but not the rest of the program. So there was another conductor who apparently took up all the rehearsal time. So the first performance was a bit of a schmozzle, and it wasn't performed again for at least another year, but it didn't become famous until Jacqueline du Pré recorded this in the 1960s. And I mean, this piece is so contemplative and elegiac, and it's the sound of it, the opening chords just embody the rich, wonderful, humanistic sounds of the cello. I think it's a piece that everybody can relate to. And I mean, the Elgar Cello Concerto really is, it's the cello. It's the cello speaking. It's the cello speaking the language of humans. It's so beautiful, and it's a wonderful piece to play. Nicolas Altstaedt is a cellist who, of course, I've heard of, but I don't think he's ever been here before. He's relatively young. He's very versatile, and he also conducts. So I'm really excited, actually, because I'm not quite sure what to expect. But I'm sure that it's going to be a brilliant performance. He's certainly a magnificent cellist. For us, for the morale of the performers and the orchestra as a whole, to lift up, I mean, we just look out into the audience and see these full audiences and so enthusiastic, and that just lifts our morale like you wouldn't believe, so we're giving it to them, but they're certainly giving it back to us, and we're so thankful for that.